Should you call a flat earther crazy? Well, what is a flat earther? It's someone who believes the earth is flat. Sounds outrageous, right? We have so much existing evidence that the earth is round. We have photos from space, laws like gravity. A week ago, I was introduced to someone who subscribes to the flat earth theory. My reaction was, "You're not serious, are you?" But he was. And he sent me a bunch of stuff. Trust me. He sent me on a research hunt looking for research that both disproves the flat earth theory and disproves the round earth theory, which is very scientific in a way. You thought these people weren't sciencey, right? Well, I'm not sciencey. I could not on the spot prove to him that the earth was round, but I knew the evidence was out there, so I said, all right, challenge accepted. I'm going to come back to you with some evidence that the earth is round and disprove your little theory. So one of the best parts about coming across the flat earth theory was that it encouraged me to do my own research for the first time in a long time. And I'll speak more on that later, but back to the story. I come back to him with a bunch of videos which proves in simple terms that the earth is round. One of my favorites was triangles, and the idea is if you have a globe and you start from one place and you go up and then you do a 90-degree angle and go this way and another 90-degree angle and go that way, eventually you're going to end up back where you started because the earth is round. However, as you can see, this thing is very tiny, and walking all that distance would be nearly impossible, so they can say that, but you can't really go out and prove it. And he counteracts with a bunch of other videos about research that literally flips everything I sent to him on its head. So I talked to this guy for about a week, and I've come to the most logical conclusion about the shape of the earth, which is that I may never know. I'm not a sciencey person, but I study people psychology. And chatting with someone who was able to forget everything that anyone had ever told him about the way the world was and just accept something new that is not popular opinion, that was a really cool experience for me and hopefully for him. But I noticed that there's a lot of people out there who choose to ridicule people like him. As soon as a flat earther comes out and says, "Hey guys, the earth might be flat. We don't know because we've only heard from official people." It's amazing the reaction that a flat earther gets. They're called crazy right off the bat. People think if that's what this guy believes, he can't be reasoned with. And actually, no, you can't be reasoned with because you're literally not reasoning with him. So here I have something I like to call a metaphiagram, which is a diagram that is also a metaphor. And I don't know how well you can see it because I can't see myself right now. Looks like an ordinary red box and there's one blue wall. Now let's take you. This is you. So the metaphor diagram, the metaphiagram, I really want to use that word. It explains the perception of a belief, and it's a box intentionally. We ask the question, what is the color of the box? And you're in the box like this. Let's see if you can stay there, and I can do this. Nope, you're just gonna slide. That's okay. You're sliding against the wall. You are sitting in the box like this. And the answer to the question is easy, right? Because we've got red everywhere. And so you say the room is red. And one day somebody else comes and says, okay, but what if one of the walls in this room is blue? And he says, no, that can't be. And he says, no, I looked the other way and one of the walls is blue. The metaphiagram is invalid for statements that are like, okay, is the sky green? Because we can all look up at the sky and we'll know it's green. But you know what's really amazing? I tried to have a flat earth argument with someone and they were more willing to argue on whether or not I see green or my blue is different than your blue than they were about the shape of the earth. It's incredible. Human psychology. Weird shit. Anyways, in this perception, we have the first wall, which is observation. So in a metaphor like, is the earth round? You have your observation. You're like, oh yeah, well the earth is round because I can see perspective. Once I look over the horizon, things disappear. Therefore, the earth is round. And I know that. You know that because you have had official support coming at you from this angle. I don't know if you can, here, let me just, official support, that's right here, and let's pretend like that's mirrored on either side of the room. So you've got your observation right ahead of you, and you've got your official support right here. That's people like Neil deGrasse Tyson and Bill Nye who come on these shows, and they're like, yeah, the earth is round because this, and that. And you're like, oh yeah, that makes sense. And then you have scientific reasoning, which is very, very important, and it's right here. It goes right here because it's kind of in your hindsight, you know, not the common man doesn't really know much about science, and it's definitely attached to the official support because we're like, they did the calculations, they figured it out, there's science behind this, don't worry. Okay, now, what if somebody comes into your little box of perception and says, hi dude, did you know that there's a blue wall? And you're like, no way there's not a blue wall. There is red all around me. Popular belief is the floor. That is red. There is red all around me. And you're crazy for believing that there was a blue wall. Now, there might not be a blue wall in this scenario. There is. The person who believes that the earth is flat is not crazy. It's the person who didn't even get up to turn around and check if there was a blue wall. That's the person who's crazy. We argue when you have something as powerful as observation on your side right here, of course you're going to keep siding with the popular belief. You're like, no. Now, observation is actually a tricky one that as a psychologist, I'm going to have to throw it out the window. That way. We can't rely on our observation because your perception is so biased by the things that you've heard around you and the things that people have told you that you can make yourself believe either way. And I can use an example of this in this profile picture that I had on Facebook. In this profile picture, I'm skydiving and you can see the earth from below. And I have some flat earther friends now and some normal people friends, I guess you could call them. And there was a miniature debate going on about like, oh no, the earth is, you can definitely tell that the earth is flat from this picture. No, you can't tell that the earth is flat, it's round. And it's literally the point is that your observation is going to make you believe that it's round or flat depending on how you see it. What I did was I took the picture and I literally took a ruler and I put, here, this is pretty much like a ruler, I put it on the horizon and it was flat. But then you can argue that it's flat because the world is so freaking big that you can't even see the curve. Observation out the window. It doesn't matter. Humans are so ready to be convinced one way or the other based on the popular belief. So when people talk about having a third eye, they're not talking about how much they meditate or that one time they did DMT and they saw angels. They are literally talking about the third eye, which is looking back. It's not that hard. You can look back and you can check for yourself. Your third eye is literally your ability to fully see the other side of a popular argument and truly question what you're being told and to understand something with your own brain, not with someone else's brain, with this person's brain. And this paradigm of thinking can be placed on any conspiracy theory. And that's why conspiracy theorists are called crazy in our society, because having your third eye open is crazy. You can't look at the unpopular thing. That's crazy. That's crazy. Yeah. You know which crazy I'm talking about. So in this metaphor, what is the truth? You could argue that the truth is the room is red and blue, or what color is the room? The truth is has nothing to do with this box. And the truth is that you're never going to know the truth unless you get a rocket ship and you blast off to space and you find out for yourself. Unfortunately, a lot of us can't do that. So that brings up the next question, which is, does the flat earth theory even matter? Why is this debate important? There are reasons. It is really important to engage your fellow human in a debate, no matter how outrageous it seems. The encounter with this guy, the flat earth theorist guy, encouraged me to do more research on physics than I had ever done in my entire life. The deeper meaning of seeing red or seeing blue, seeing the flat earth, seeing the round earth. Well, on the round earth, it preaches to us that we're living on a spinning ball, flying through space, everything is chaotic, out of our control, and there's other planets out there like ours, so we can destroy Earth and we might be okay. That's a cynical view of it, but that's actually the flat earther's side, which is the unpopular thing, which is why I'm showing you. You have your own opinions about the round earth, that's fine. The flat earth sides with the belief that the earth is the universe. It is the one thing. It's the only thing we've ever known, which is true. How many of your friends and family are actually astronauts? So the flat earth theory encourages people to acknowledge that the world is precious because it is the universe, that every human is special, and more importantly than all of those things, that we should fully question the ethics of institutions before we agree to funding them like millions and millions of dollars. Flat earth kind of sounds like a religion. A lot of flat earthers believe in God, and that isn't a valid reason to crush their arguments because what is God? But again, unless you're an actual astronomer or you've been to space or you really, really understand the science, if you're just blindly accepting what scientists tell you, you are also partaking in a religion. It's the blind belief in somebody who's above you, who has more knowledge than you. And you're believing what you've been told without a deeper understanding. So arguably, either one is religion, depending on how much knowledge you have on it. And with that, I would like to encourage you to go and do your own research on this topic. Like I said, I'm not a scientist. Vsauce has a really great video on the flat earth, and I like it because he doesn't answer the question, which is cool, because the question can't really be answered until, I don't know, will it? Trips me out. Should trip you out too. It's a trip. It's my trip. And thank you. So before I was mentioning how observation is always biased because your perception is going to be biased based on what you've been told and what you've been seeing your entire life. So here we have the horizon, which is one of the biggest reasons people don't want to believe that the earth could be another shape, because we know that if you could see straight out, you would be able to see something all the way across to the other side. And they argue that it's because it sinks down and therefore you can't see anymore. I just wanted to mention the flat earth theory that I understood. They actually took cameras that are really high powered and they went out to sea and they were following a boat, and the camera was, they kept on putting in a new lens that was more powerful and more powerful lens. And what they noticed is that it just depends on the lens, how powerful it is, how far out you can see. I think there was a canal that's like long enough so that it would experience some curve of the earth, but you can see from one end to the other. And they proved that with some telescopes. It's still questionable, but it is known that when you look in any direction for long enough, you can't really see further because there's always something in the way. Oh, hi! This is my dog. He's gonna knock it over. I know he is. Thanks, Bernie. So there's mountains in my way, but even before that there's trees. There's lots of buildings. There's always something in the way. And the world is just so pretty, guys.
All I really want to say is just, like, take care of it. That's all. I don't care what you believe.